Hi everyone, my name is Patuni Shastri and you are listening to Drag Me to Heaven. This is a conversation where we bring in drag artists and spirituality at one particular platform. So if you haven't heard our previous podcast episodes, I would recommend highly to kind of go ahead and hear some of these wonderful conversations which I've been having with drag artists across the globe who are trying to navigate their idea of faith, spirituality with drag. And you can also find us in all streaming platforms. This is a space where we talk about actively about spirituality and drag and how exactly it's been kind of been rooted into the idea of gender performance. So far, we have interviewed more than 10 people across the world who are drag artists, and we are also trying to kind of go ahead and interview a few more drag artists today. And this is a space where we would like to kind of go ahead and make it very active communication. So if you have any questions or if you have any kind of thoughts, please reach out to us at pcsas number 3 at gmail.com. We would be more than happy to listen to your communication. And in today's episode, we are having a conversation with Sister Shalita from Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence. So they are a drag artist as well as a mystic, and we would be kind of talking about how they kind of navigate their idea of faith and belief, and how they've been working with Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence. So without any further ado, let me quickly go ahead and chime in, Sister Shalita. Hi everyone, my name is Patruni Shastri, aka Suffocated Art Specimen, aka SAS, and it's 6 a.m. in the morning at Hyderabad. And this is Drag Me to Heaven, a podcast where we speak about faith, spirituality, and drag. I have been interviewing, some wonderful artists across the globe for this particular podcast, and I'm really excited as well as, really looking forward for this conversation where I am with somebody from the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence, uh, Sister Shalita, and they have been one of major member of Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence for a time now, and I'm more than happy to kind of go ahead and have conversation about how Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence as an organization is working and also their individual journey. So without any further ado, let me go ahead and welcome Sister Shalita. Hi, how are you?
Hello. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
You are you are famous, and everybody knows you. Having said that, for our audience who are very new chiming in to the work of Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence, could you please introduce yourself and introduce your gender pronouns, and also make us accustomed with your belief and faith ideologies?
Absolutely. So, my name is Sister Shalita Corndog of the San Francisco Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence. And my belief, my personal belief, I'm a mystic and from the Judaic background. Now, during the holidays, of course, we all know the birth of the Messiah, the story, the nativity scene. We all know the story. The Magi, the Persian Magi are the Magi, the wise men, adorned in colorful fabrics, wearing bright jewels, giving the luxurious gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. They were the mystics. They foretold of the birth. They mapped the stars. These are my people, my tribe. We are few. There are not that many of us, but we are the keepers of higher knowledge, and we are the storytellers. So that is my belief system. I also want to preface this because I know, when you have millions of followers and millions of people watching this, there's something important to say. As a mystic, we honor all pathways and beliefs to the divine, including atheism. If somebody believes that God does not exist, as a mystic, I honor that as truth. Because if the cosmos came from nothing, and nothing does not exist, then indeed creation itself, the God particle, the goddess, whatever you call it, does not exist, and that can be true. And if you're someone like me who sees creation in all people, all beings, sentient, non-sentient, celestial, mortal, then creation must be all things and everything. And if those two extremes on the spectrum can be absolute truth, it can allow 9 billion souls to share this rock, this beautiful garden, and have 9 billion individual, unique relationships or lack of relationships with that energy, and they can all be true. We can coexist. We can honor one another's belief system.
That's so wonderful how you kind of uh, put about, having this connective idea of sharing and coexisting irrespective of multiple or difference in belief systems or beliefs in its own self. um, I would like to kind of ask, could you please also help us your drag journey, how exactly it started, and was your faith or your belief made an active choice in your drag persona, creating your drag persona, and how both of these things go, like, do they go hand in hand, and how exactly how they sit together?
Well, first, let me tell you, when I was a little boy, I insisted on having rainbow coats. I have gay fathers. I was adopted out of foster care system, and I insisted that I always had colorful coats. It was my thing. It was my fashion thing. So my rabbi, when I came of age, donned me the name, my Hebrew name, Neshama Yosef. Neshama Yosef, which is the immortal soul, the eternal soul of Joseph, the boy who wore the coat of many colors. I have always taken immense struggle and turned it into something magical. Just like the story of Joseph. You know, his brothers and their wives, what were there, 13 of them? I don't remember. But they literally were so jealous that this boy was dad's favorite that they beat him bloody and left him for dead. Sold him into slavery. And do you know that that boy still forgave them, helped them, fed them? He understood. And so that's how I live. Now, regarding the drag, when I was young, it was the AIDS epidemic. There was a photograph taken, a very famous photograph of a man named David Kirby. The photograph of David Kirby is, it's so sad, but it was a photograph of him taking his last breath as he died from AIDS, surrounded by his family. And the United Colors of Benetton, used that image for marketing. There was a group called ACT UP, and they were protesting with the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence. my dads, in their wisdom, took the young Giuliano, Shalita, to see the protests. It was the first time I saw the sisters. They were larger than life. They were beautiful. They were powerful. People paid attention. Something inside of my little heart said, wow, this is important. This matters. And so, fast forward, I started my journey as a healthcare professional, as a nurse. And one of my colleagues in Baltimore, I was working in Baltimore, Johns Hopkins Hospital and the Baltimore Health Department. One of my sisters, Lisa Scotty, she told me one day in her office, she said, you're a sister, right? I said, well, yeah. I mean, we're sisters. I get it. Like, we're gay. We're sisters. Hey, sis. She goes, no. You're a sister. I said, what do you mean? And she said, I'm a sister of Perpetual Indulgence. I said, oh, you're one of those? And I remembered. And she saw in me what I wasn't aware of. And that's when I started my journey. The abbess was Sister Bambi Galore, and they held me in a safe space. They allowed me to create and be. There was Sister Ruth. Well, I'm not going to say her full name because it's not a very nice word, but it's Sister Ruthless something. And it rhymes with hun. But these were wonderful, wonderful sisters, and they welcomed me. And I'd always told my fathers that when they got old, I would come back home and I would help them. I would take care of them. It was the least that I could do. They who have given so much to me to be who I am. Well, one of my dads was diagnosed with Parkinson's. And it was getting harder and harder for them to get stuff done. And so I made the decision to give up my fabulous life on the East Coast, my jobs at these prestigious institutions, and I moved back to San Francisco. And it took about same. And I'm getting my nails done. It's almost perfect, isn't it? To have this done as we're getting all dolled up.
Yeah.
But so I moved home. I took a job as a palliative care home health nurse, help people transition in their later stages, focusing on quality of life, pain management, comfort. I was in grad school learning to practice medicine, and there was a lot going on. I look back at that time as kind of, I don't know, almost like a delusional state. I don't know how I did it, but I did it. I met a lot of people. I did a residency, not a residency, that's what doctors do. This is more of like a clinical placement for nurse practitioners at a hospice. I did grief counseling. And I'm not going to reveal names or anything, but this is going to tie this into India. One of my most moving and inspiring clients was a family, an Indian family, Hindu, who had lost their beloved daughter. Suddenly, abruptly, her boyfriend was drunk driving, drove into a tree, and she lost her life instantly. It shook that family to the core. Now I was learning how to help people through these difficult times, and that family took me in and allowed me to be part of that process. I channeled the spirit and energy of Ganesh to help them with that transition. I called upon the unconditional love of Lord Shiva, and we rallied through. And that family got through the most painful, horrible thing they've ever could have witnessed. It's unimaginable. I still stay in touch with them today. So once all of the dust settled, I finished grad school, started working. I decided to pick up my elevation because I had not become a fully professed sister. And I asked Sister Bambi Galore if she would recommend me to the San Francisco house to continue my elevation process so I could become a sister here, which she did. She gave me a glowing recommendation. And I was welcomed by the Sisters of San Francisco and continued my journey.
Great. Thank you so much for addressing that. I wanted to just, as you answer the question, also wanted to add something additional to the same. Could you also help us? How did you kind of, was there any kind of a conflict with the faith which you were raised in and drag in itself? And how did you navigate that part?
No. When you look in historically, you have to go way, way, way back. Two-spirit people, queers, transgender, LGBTQ, clowns, mimes, court jesters, they were always revered as gifts from the divine. They were spiritual counselors. They were healers. They were entertainers. They helped people cope with life through unimaginable circumstances, plagues, wars, terror, torture. These were the guides that helped people forget about their suffering for a moment. And when I woke up to the reality that I am one of these gifts. I am an angel. You are an angel. It ignited a flame inside of me. Not the red and orange destructive flame. The blue part of the flame. The heat. And once that ignited, I became an unstoppable force.
Great. Thank you for addressing that. Now, with the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence, being an organization which counters any kind of religious intolerant, hate which is being thrown towards queer community on a timely basis. Um, could you also kind of help me understand can drag be a medium for spiritual conversations or spiritual connectivity? And if it's a younger person who is pursuing drag, always drag is seen with a lens of either celebrating sex positivity or something which is very sexual in so nature, but never being used
Yes.
as a medium for spiritual conversations.
Because your audience is largely Indian, I imagine lots of Hindu, and Sikh, Muslim. I love that these people, your people, our people, they literally see things at face value. When Lord Shiva cries as a child because of the state of the universe, and with those tears creates the loving mother, the river Ganges. She's literally a goddess. The river is the goddess. I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. I challenge people to look at the art of the deities. Look at the artistic representation of Lord Shiva. He is beautiful. He's wearing makeup. He's adorned in jewels. He is donned in fashion that is next level. Beautiful jewels and metallics and flowing garments. I also remind people who think that God or the goddess, the creator, has an issue with LGBT. Look at a zebra. Look at a giraffe. Look at a tiger. Look at a rainbow viper. Do you think that our creator has a problem with color and design? No. Color and design is creation. And all of those oppressive forces need to wake up and see what this is. See. Does that answer the question?
Yes. Thank you so much for sharing that. We are at the kind of end of the conversation. I just wanted to kind of ask you, what is that one wisdom of thought or advice you have for younger queer people? Again, especially I'm talking about artists. You also mentioned about artists irrespective of drag, like people who perform mime, people who are performers, poets, musicians, etc., especially who is coming from a queer background, or somebody who's leading as a queer individual, bringing queer art. What is that one advice which you like to give it to them, so that they can utilize their art in the right direction?
Absolutely. Here's my advice. Know thine enemy. Know thine enemy. Other artists, our sisters, our friends, they are not the enemy. Stop breaking each other down. Stop the reads. Stop the judgment. Stop the criticism. Stop it. If you see an artist and their art is not up to par with what you perceive it should be, go into your closet, get out your most fabulous piece of fashion, and you give it to them and say, here. Next time you go out, why don't you wear this? If their makeup is not on par, tell them what makeup to buy. Give them some of your old palettes. We all have a drawer full of probably thousands of dollars worth of just shit. Dig in. Give it to them. And always encourage safety first. Safety. Do not go to events alone. Do not show up in places by yourself. Have a friend. If you have resources, hire a bodyguard. If you can't do that, have friends. Know who's hiring you. Do your research before you show up. Do not fall into the trap. And if you're traveling to other countries, do your research. If LGBTQ is illegal, don't take the gig. And if you have space in your home, if you have a spare room, if you have a couch, open it up so that our brothers and sisters do not end up on the streets, in prostitution, or human trafficked. This shit is real. And we all need to wake up. We need to band together. We need to help each other. It's time for the LGBTQ community to be a family again. The last time there was a fascist red wing takeover of power in this world was the Reagan administration. It was the AIDS epidemic. And do you know what was born out of that? The LGBTQ community. Act Up. Job discrimination protections. The American with Disabilities Act. The Elizabeth Glaser Pediatric AIDS Foundation. The Liz Tyler Aaron Diamond AIDS Research Center that gave us protease inhibitors. PrEP. Antiretrovirals. Vaccine research that paved the way. HIV vaccine research done. I was working in HIV vaccine research for 3.5 years doing the phase 1 trials in Seattle, Washington at Fred Hutchinson Cancer Research Center. We did the phase 1 trials with gay men who donated their bodies and volunteer taking risk, getting injected with mRNA vaccines for HIV that proved not to be working. But do you know what that data was used for? The creation of a COVID vaccine. The reason we have a COVID mRNA vaccine within 1 year is because of the dutiful, altruistic efforts of gay and queer and allied people trying to find an HIV vaccine. That was the safety data that we used to create a COVID vaccine. My boss's boss was Dr. Tony Fauci. Now, say what you want about Dr. Fauci. That man cares about people. He cares. Does not make money. He's not rich beyond means. He could be. No, he cares about people. We should celebrate these unsung heroes. Dr. Julie McElrath, my boss, who saw a gift in me and helped me succeed. Is that sufficient?
Yes. Thank you so much for sharing it. And with that note, we are up with the time. And thank you so much for making this effort and sharing some very valuable information about the history of, the AIDS epidemic, as well as how Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence and how you, as a sister, kind of led the entire communities. To kind of come out of the hardships and also constantly still share support as well as love across. And you also mentioned about reading. I think this is a very important point where we kind of especially in the world where when there's all hate kind of coming towards drag artists, it's high time we don't throw hate towards each other, and we kind of create that safe space for all of us to coexist. So thank you so much for taking time and making this podcast possible. And yeah, thank you again for being a part of it and making this very fruitful
Yes.
conversation. So that was a talk. Thank you so much for being with us, and thank you so much for chiming in. I would also kind of quickly apologize for any inconvenience caused, especially when you are listening to any back talks, because our speaker was in a public space, so hence there was a lot of cross talks which were happening, which might have been a little bit of a difficult experience for people who are listening to this. But I tried to kind of ensure that we would try to make a little less noise when we are having conversations and ensure it's also been with good quality. So I hope this conversation was fruitful, and thank you so much for each and everybody who have chimed in with us. And I hope to kind of look forward for more such conversations with more such drag artists. Until then, thank you so much and have a great day. Let's drag you to heaven.